A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Snacker Attacker, the HJN. So, I feel like that I really wasn't going to ever stoop this low when it came time to finding myself another good snack out there to review, but when it comes to candies, there really has been lots of different efforts to try and create some of the largest sweets ever known to humankind. But what if I said that I do in fact have myself a rather large delicacy that we've known throughout the ages, and it is this big. Yeah. This is right here. The biggest Jawbreaker. Yeah. This is known as the Mega Bruiser. The world's largest Jawbreaker, pretty much. And the thing is that we've seen tons of videos about this stuff already, but you know what? It's time for me to give it a more in-depth sort of focus, because this has certainly been something that I've kept around with me for a while. No joke. I've actually had this thing, like, in storage pretty much, because I have tried to eat this thing before, and man, it is tough. I've tried to cut through it so I could make it easier. I've tried to, well, get through as much of it as possible, but as it turns out, if you're not very familiar with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or even the dreaded 2005 remake, or even the talks about this all new one that we're having, then well, you're probably familiar with the saying, you can suck on the everlasting gobstopper and suck it and suck it and suck it and suck it, and it'll never get any smaller. Well, you might as well say that this right here is probably what Willy Wonka meant to say. The Mega Bruiser, not the everlasting gobstopper. This probably was something that might have been inspired by the movie to create something that could be so indestructible to most methods of consumption that it could last for long periods of time. And anyone who dares try to eat this whole entire thing, well, could probably be suffering with broken teeth or rotting gums or something else of the sorts. The Mega Bruiser right here, for a giant Jawbreaker, I've had this thing around, wow, I actually bought it not too long ago, but I still have it around here right now, and I really gotta say, there really hasn't been too many good efforts to try and, well, consume this thing. It is the size of a freaking softball, which is gigantic. I mean, this is the largest possible Jawbreaker I could pretty much get my hands on. And honestly, there's been tons of videos out there on YouTube of people trying to find ways to carve into the center here with pressure washers and drainers and even freaking chainsaws. Of course, while those efforts were very wild and alike, I am in fact a person on YouTube who tries to keep content PG. So, let's just say, if I wanted to destroy something like this, then well, it will be flippin' hard to do so. So, that's pretty much what you're gonna get. Just me licking the side of the Mega Bruiser right here. This thing actually doesn't taste bad. It's kind of like a nice sort of vanilla kind of flavoring. I don't know if that's what they meant to do on the outside right here, but as I lick through, the layer on the top, which is pretty much just a layer of dextrose combined with carnauba wax and food coloring to give it this nice sort of psychedelic appearance right here. Red, blue, and yellow food coloring they actually used to create these little spots and the like, these little details all over the ball to give it this sort of psychedelic look. And that's been a popular approach to most Jawbreakers, even to this day. We get the nice sort of appearance of red, yellow, and blue combined with the whites, but as you can see right here, yeah, this spot right here where it's sort of like darkish in tone, that's just the outside of the Jawbreaker itself. And there's even a spot right here, if you can see, where I tried to use my frost on this thing. As you know, it's a pretty trusty switchblade of mine that I've had for years. But even that was no match for this thing. I mean, of course, if you're willing to try and eat this whole entire thing, no matter how many licks it took or whatever the effort was for you to get all the way through, then you're still in for a pretty bumpy ride, because apparently, according to the box on this thing, you could fit a lot of these in ya, and that'd be tons of sugar that'd be consumed. Jawbreakers are usually around 80 to 95% sugar throughout the whole way, and as a result of that, you're in some serious danger when it comes to wanting to not have diabetes throughout your life. And this thing right here is a huge message to not eat it all the way unless you're wanting to risk diabetes. So it pretty much does what it can to give Nutella a run for its money when it comes to very high concentrations of sugar that you can find inside any possible sweet. You probably would want to eat just straight up sugar rather than trying to down this whole entire thing. Or maybe it's the other way around. But either way, there's a gigantic caloric intake following on this thing as well. And I've done the math. You could fit about 11 servings in this whole entire thing. And this Jawbreaker alone is over 2,700 calories. Wow. What a shocker. To think that a Jawbreaker could have that many calories in it at once? I can't stand it. But I will say for sure that this right here is just a mind blow. The way that they could make the largest Jawbreaker ever, pretty much. Though it is only a matter of time before we have ourselves someone else who happens to have their own giant Jawbreaker, pretty much. This thing is like holding a ball of copper, pretty much. A ball of metal, pretty much. It's quite heavy for what it is. It's the size of a softball, and that almost reminds me. What if you could use this as a temporary baseball? Or some other kind of ball in your life? Well, I'm not willing to find out about that, but you know what? That Mega Bruiser is just super gigantic. I mean, it is really a mind blow. It is very much just the epitome of something that you might want to avoid at some point. But I will say that this thing is probably pretty good for preservation. If you wanted to keep this around as some sort of little token of honor or something, then feel free to do so. This thing may be meant for eating, but man, you never should try to eat this whole entire sweet in just one sitting. Unless you're very hardcore at it. So, tastes pretty good, but I feel like that it would be a long time before I could even get to the center of that thing. So, that's pretty much it here. But for the future, there will definitely be a lot more content on its way very soon. And I will say that I will have lots of new material coming within the coming weeks, so be sure to check out more on that stuff if you can. But if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.